Good morning on this foggy day 21. 3 weeks in, hard to believe. Man, this time next week we'll be in definitely southern Oregon, getting our way past Gold Beach. But today, it's a little easier day. We got to get out this road, get on the $1 Million Highway, and get over the McCullough Bridge into North Bend by lunchtime. My friends are gonna meet me for lunch. Jackie's gonna pick me up, and Pete and Frank will meet us at Walt's Tavern, which will take as much time as possible to eat lunch and drink beer. And then I've got to go to the running store and replace my hat that escaped me in Gardner, of all places, I think. I don't know. Anyway, you lose things on this trip. Just, you leave them or you lose them, or they take them, or the birds get them, or the squirrels eat them. I don't know, but you lose things. Anyway, some things you can do without. With the amount of beach walking coming up, I figure a hat would be good. So after that, we'll do a little shopping and then wind up tonight skipping most of the roads in Coos Bay, North Bend, and Empire, and go straight out to Sunset Bay. Get a good night's rest and get ready for a 20-mile hump tomorrow in Abandon to Bullard's Beach State Park, which is a little bit of a walk. But the fog is trying to lift. Not as bad. Everything was just wet this morning. Cold, achy, typical low pressure day. But it's quiet out here. Nobody's out here right now. So we'll get out to the road and get into town and get back out in the woods again. Not too bad for Friday. About done with Horsfall Road and getting on the Transpacific Highway, but I needed to stop, get a snack. So next, I'm going to walk out to the big road and go over the biggest bridge we'll probably go over, not the tallest, but the biggest. Well, we'll take a little more time to talk about some of the nuts and bolts here of camping. Last night when I went to make dinner, my canister was out of gas. For some reason it was full pretty much the night before, so defective canister or something. But anyway, so you kind of have to punt. I don't, for this trip anyway, spend a lot of money on dehydrated food, you know, at $8 or $9 a meal, which is worth paying that if you're up in the high country and need to save a lot of weight. But I think at the most I've carried 5 meals with me, because you're in a store, and if you're just going from store to store, that's not a bad way to go. Keeps your food weight under like 4 pounds. And there's not a water issue. I can get through one canister, try and use it just for dinner, maybe 5-6 days, maybe a week, for tea and for whatever I need to heat up. So a dollar store, Walmart, some of these places, unfortunately you can't really buy in bulk unless you want to really plan this out and send yourself food, which you'll waste the money in postage as opposed to just buying what you need for today. So probably eat a little unhealthy, but then when you go into town, occasionally you got to buy a salad for dinner or something that's a little healthier. So if you have some dietary issues, of course you have to plan that in concern, but there are people that go and don't bring a stove or too many pots and things to save weight, and they cold soak their food like I did last night. I had chicken and rice, but I let it go all night and had that for breakfast along with oatmeal. Cold, wasn't bad, wasn't the best, but it was adequate, and it'll get me through until I get up here to Walt, get a proper lunch and get some nutritious food for dinner, and kind of punt tomorrow as we're going from Sunset Bay to Bullard's, which doesn't have a lot in between in the way of stores, and then get into Bandon and get home and stay home for a day or two and then continue on. But find the foods that you're going to be taking with you, try them out ahead of time at home, see how much different they are from your diet. If you get acid indigestion, just bring some stuff for it. So I don't usually eat this way at home. I eat mostly fruits and vegetables and protein, and I've had more carbs in the last 3 weeks than I have in the last 6 months, so be careful going over railroad tracks here. But yeah, food's important. You've got to get some stuff that makes you happy and stuff that won't spoil. I've not had problems with animals getting in my food. There have been some food containers at various camps, but most people don't use them. Haven't heard of people losing stuff. Squirrels are squirrels and bunnies are bunnies, but they basically stay out. Anyway, we're coming into view here of the McCullough Bridge. A bit in the clouds this morning, but we'll be up there in a little bit as soon as we get past the bay up here and go over that little hump. 2 pieces of equipment I wouldn't skimp on too much. I wouldn't skimp on shoes. Find a comfortable pair of trail shoes. I'm not wearing hiking boots. I'm wearing trail shoes, popular by a lot of the ultra runners, and they're worn out by now. And I would not skimp on a sleeping pad, especially if you have hip issues or neck issues. A pillow's nice, and a warm enough sleeping bag. You don't need anything that goes below 40 degrees out here, but shoes, a sleeping pad are essential. Everything else you're going to pay for, lightweight stuff. And you can get a lot of stuff, online, pre-owned for pretty cheap, and you can use it, and it gets a second life, and you save some money that you can spend in restaurants and occasionally break down and go in a hotel if you need to, or a motel, or a B&B, or all the other little things, or buy yourself a new tarp to pitch over your head. You can see we're on the main truck route now, the Transpacific Highway, which goes out to Horsfall Beach, and then beyond that it kind of goes to nowhere. So supposed to be a lot of businesses out this way, but there's a boat dock, which if you had the right connections, you could take the boat dock over through Coos Bay and wind up in Charleston, and some people have done that. So I'm going to walk around and get driven through town instead of skip it all on a boat this time. That is if I don't get killed by a truck or one of these road whales. So, but still a gorgeous day out here. You can see the bridge over there, and north end of Coos Bay behind me here, and in front of me is Highway 101, about another half mile up here, so it's all good. the things you may have to overcome if you're going to hike this is your acrophobia, or fear of heights. And most of the time, you know, we're at water level and it's not a big deal, but if you're the type of person that doesn't like to stand on the cliff's edge and look over, and you get a little nervous, well, that's kind of what's crossing a bridge is like. So if you're going over the Newport Bridge, which is one of the first big bridges, you know, or Waltport, and now this, the Coos Bay Bridge, you know, and even some of the little ones that don't have a rail, and you realize you're more than 50 feet up, you know, that's a problem. Occasionally you're walking on a ridge, like up on Tillamook Head, and you look over the trail and there ain't nothing on the other side except water 600 feet down, and you're on a muddy trail and you get a little nervous. They don't make guardrails up there, so get comfortable with your fear of heights, and hopefully this can help you overcome it. About 9 days from now, on day 30, I think, we're going to go over actually the tallest bridge, which is the Thomas Creek Bridge, which I believe is about 300 feet above the ground. So it's just very short. You don't really notice it until you get on the other side and look down. And it's a long way down. A couple of things which might never get mentioned. When you roll into camp, and even after the third or fourth day, you're going to wake up and your body's not feeling it. And you wish you had some strong painkillers. Well, you need to keep your mind sharp, so I wouldn't do that. But some vitamin I, some ibuprofen, or some Tylenol, does help, at least at night. Help your body relax when you're laying on a bunch of roots and your sleeping pad has failed. Any little bit helps. You're going to need some sunscreen for the beach, and probably some moleskin or second skin or whatever you do to patch your feet up. But, you know, like good shoes, take care of your feet. They're the only feet you have, and if they fail you on the first 15 miles, you've got a long way to go. So if you start feeling a rub or a hot spot, stop and deal with it. Drink plenty of water. You say, well, if I drink a lot of water, I'll just have to pee a lot. Well, if you're a guy, you bring a little jar with you or container, and you fill most of it up at night. Girls got to kind of get up and down probably, but it's still important. If you don't stay hydrated and you get cramps, nothing worse than cramps in a sleeping bag or in a tent. You're trying to get uncramped up. Sorry. Brings back a lot of bad memories. Anyway, since I drink a lot of water, that hasn't been a problem. Sometimes if you get too cold, you don't have enough water, you don't think you need it. Yeah, that's when you need it the most. So drink a lot, protect your skin, protect your feet, take some vitamin I, just like you take vitamin C. You can save your liver later. Well, as you've seen from a lot of my stuff, you don't really need the biggest and the best and the most expensive equipment to show off. You just need stuff to keep you warm at night, get you down the road, and it won't kill your shoulders. So look for bargains, look for deals, especially in the fall and the winter when people are trying to sell their old stuff. It still works, and it usually comes to you pretty clean. And then you can upgrade from there and sell it to somebody else who is looking. We're not in the Alps here. There are places to replace stuff if you need to. So get out the door. If you realize, oh, that was way too heavy of a pack, figure out what you didn't use and don't take it next time. Just take the basics, get it done, and go out and have a good time. Do what you need to do to have a good time. And that's the bottom line. Okay, we're just leaving the Transpacific Parkway for the last time. And getting on Highway 101 here. Heading over toward the bridge. Well, this is one place you don't want to wear headphones. You can probably see why. Pretty day though. Tide is in. Nothing to complain about today. Little espresso place in case you need to get a little jolt before you go over the bridge here. About ready to get a lot narrower and a lot noisier. And we're getting a lot taller up here. What I want to know is where is the hiker rest area? They got a cyclist rest area. I guess that's Simpson Park, which is on the other side of this. That clump of trees way down there. McCullough Memorial Bridge. Here we come. And we're just getting higher and higher. You would think all things could pass underneath this bridge, but I believe in 1986 a Swedish schooner hit the bottom of it with its mast, caused a little bit of damage to the bridge, not to mention the boat, but it's all been fixed. We're not even to the high part yet. Alright, we are now at the middle of this bouncy bridge, and halfway across. Lots of fishermen out today. Beautiful calm day though. No wind up here to speak of. Gentleman's name I was talking to there was named Brett. He's from Washington, D.C. He's been out 5 or 6 days. That's the first person I've met that's actually doing this trail. I'm at the North Bend Public Library now and waiting for my friend Jackie and Mom to show up. But first I'm going to get out of some of these stinky clothes so they don't keep me out of the car. October 4, 1973, Malcolm Forbes of New York began the first transcontinental crossing of the United States in a hot air balloon. His unique journey ended on November 5, 1973, in Chesapeake Bay near Newport News, Virginia. Started in Oregon. That must have been a heck of a journey. Well, day 21 was pretty good. Short walk, good company all afternoon. Had a little downtime this afternoon. Took a little walk after I got organized out to the beach and getting ready for tomorrow. Go back and probably get some tea together tonight and get up early in the morning and get on it. Hopefully get to Bullard's Beach before it gets too dark. Last time I was there an hour after it got dark. Hopefully I can get there by 7 tomorrow. So it's a ways, but it's all right. Calculated up, we're about 245 miles in, and we're getting there. Tomorrow's mostly a day of trails and just a little bit of road walking, and then they end with some beach walking. So I have a little bit more to say about that tomorrow, but not a bad day. Weather turned out to be perfect, and it's good seeing some friends today, having some good food, and now I need some good sleep. Rest this body and get it ready to go 20 plus tomorrow. Have a good night. See you on day 22.